Hi Ram.
Hi.
Hi Anu. Hi Shushmita. Hi everybody.
Hi.
So today we have the session about Tuler. As you all know, Santosh, are you recording? As you all know, Tuler is one of the schools which Runners High has been supporting for ages. So we are having a quick session today, discussion with the founders. They're from Tuler. So just to give you a background about what is Tuler and where it is. Tuler is located in an Adivasi village of Sitlinge district. It's a remote village in Dharmapuri district of Tamil Nadu. It is an education resource center for children and young adults. Tuler believes that children from disadvantaged sections in the rural areas need education that would help them gain self-respect and also help live with dignity. For this, they needed to acquire skills relevant to the community and the local economy. And this is what the initiative is working towards. There are some of the activities which Tuler carry out. We will talk more about these activities, in our discussion with Ram and Anu, who are present with us today. Just before I introduce you to Ram and Anu, I just want you to give a small or a brief background about Runners High and Tuler. There is an interesting history. Santosh, as you know, when he came back and when he was working as part of this, teaching, he went to visit this village, Sitlingi, and he realized that there was immense talent and enthusiasm there in the children, and how physically the children were active, and how their physical activity can be a potent way of educating them and improving their self-esteem. There were hardly any space of physical activity in, as we know, in that education system. But Santosh said that with involvement from the grassroots efforts, especially experiencing the training the children and training with running, he was confident of both his passions will be triggered off. So Runners High actually got started off with the route taken from Tuler and Sitlingi. With that, I will end the sharing, but I will now introduce you to Ram and Anu. Hello Ram, hello Anu. They are joining us from Tuler. And I have with me Shushmita, who will help me with moderating this. Hi Shushmita.
Hi Shiva. Hi Anu, hi Ram. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the nice presentation. We have almost all our team members here. So I think it is good if we go through a round of introduction. Hi,
yeah,
my name is.
Sure, please.
Sorry, we just have to cram up together because we couldn't manage with another laptop. Yeah, connectivity is also not very good. Myself, Ram, and my wife Archana and I moved to Sitlingi in the end of 2016. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Ravi.
Hi Ravi.
I'm working in Tuler. I'm from Neechangadu village, near Sitlingi.
Okay.
Ravi's wife Ambika works for the hospital. So Ravi works for Tuler. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm from Palagutta village.
Okay.
Hello.
Suresh is nearby, a village nearby school. He joined us a few months back.
Oh, okay.
Hi Shaktivel.
Okay. Hi, Shaktivel.
Saktivel is an old timer. He's been with Tulir for the past many years actually. He was a student. It was a learning center, and now a teacher in Tulir.
Wow, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Anu. Hi, I talk.
Hi,
to
Anu.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sindhamani. I'm from Ratchakote.
Yeah.
Sindhamani is also a parent also, whose daughter studies here.
Okay.
Ajuma.
இல்ல அவங்களுக்கு தெரியும் நினைக்கிறேன். Yeah.
Hi, I am Rajama. I come from Sikkim. I am from Sikkim.
And also Rajama is also like Saktivel, one of the old timers with Tulir almost from the beginning. You can say now she is a teacher. She was a student and the teacher presently. Rajama's son comes to Tulir. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you all hear us properly? Is there a lag?
No. We can hear you. We can hear you, Ram.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Thanks for that lovely introduction. And nice to see all of you taking efforts basically and coming together. Thanks a lot. Shushmita?
Who are the others with you now today? Can you introduce them?
Yeah. I have, you know Santosh, right? You know Santosh. Then we have Shushmita also, who is here with us. She has been with Runners High for a long time. She is currently a coach in our Pune branch. We have also all the coaches and runners from Bangalore, our Delhi and Pune centers. Okay, so we can just start off Anu and Ram. So we have just done a brief introduction about Tulir. Do you want to add anything to that, or do you want to take it further? Is there anything you want to add? Some things which I missed out talking about Tulir.
Actually, if you ask questions, we can respond, I think. You did a very good
Great.
introduction. Start off questions
Okay.
and we.
So let me start off. What is the trigger for you to start this? What is the history of Tulir?
So there are a lot of things, but mainly Krishna, me, Reggie and Lalita, who started the hospital here, all of us as youngsters felt that we were concerned for the society and community, and mainly about social justice. We felt that people who were disadvantaged, who are were disadvantaged not because of fault of their own, but because of social and economic injustice. So we had all planned to work in some place where we would be relevant, our work would be relevant, and we could contribute meaningfully. So that is the search we were on. And Krishna and I have been working in other places, in Gandhigram, Gudalur, with tribal and, Dalit people. And Reggie and Lalita came here in '93 to start the hospital here, because this area was very badly connected and health facilities, education facilities were not there. And Krishna and I are actually architects by training, but we've been always trying to see how our education could benefit people in rural and tribal areas. And so we used to come here to Sittlingi from '93 to help them build their hospital. We used to they took local tribal youth and were training them as nurses and health workers. So we would do some classes for them, general classes. And in Gudalur also we were working, though we were architects, our work was more about empowering people, educating them in skills and other things. And we slowly got into education. In Gudalur we were working in the tribal school there. And we realized in 2003 that there was a very great need for people to work here. For someone to move in here and commit to staying here and work on education. So we moved here in 2003. And our work has always been that we don't say that this is what we would do for the next 10 or 20 years. Our work has been more of dialogue with the community around us. And there's a give and take, and we see what is needed at that point and in what ways can we contribute. And that dialogue is still going on.
That's a lovely way of putting things, Anu. Thanks for that. Just to tell runners, guys who are there, if you have any questions you want us to ask Anu and Ram, please post your questions in the chat window. We will take it up with them. Just to continue, Anu and Ram, so what, like you explained all the things, what are the activities which happen at Tulir?
So right now, Tulir main activity is the primary school, which we started in 2015. I have Rajama here. She can tell how it was earlier when we first started in 2005 and 6. So she'll talk in Tamil and Ram will translate.
Sure.
சாயந்தரம் ஸ்கூல் போயிட்டு பசங்க வருவாங்க, கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கூல் போயிட்டு வருவாங்க. அப்போ வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட்லேயே எங்களுக்கு அக்காலாம் கிளாஸ் எடுத்துருவாங்க, பசங்களுக்கு எப்படி சொல்லணும், என்னெல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அப்போ வந்து கேம்ஸ் இருக்கும், பாட்டு இருக்கும், டிராயிங் இருக்கும், பெயிண்டிங் இருக்கும், படிக்கிறது இருக்கும், அப்புறம் பொருளை வச்சு கணக்கு சொல்லி கொடுக்கறது, அந்த மாதிரியெல்லாம் இருக்கும்.
I'll just translate what Rajama said. The government school going children will come in the evening, and before they come, Anu will talk to us, helping us how we can engage them meaningfully by doing a lot of crafts and art, and how they can teach math by actually handling objects and counting, etc.
அந்த பசங்க ஒரு பசங்களா வந்து பார்த்துட்டு நிறைய பசங்க 100 பசங்களுக்குள்ள வந்துட்டாங்க. அவங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சி போச்சு துளிர். அவங்க வந்துட்டு அவங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச மாதிரி செய்யறதுக்கு அவங்களுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருந்துச்சு. அது மாதிரி யோசிச்சு நிறைய பசல்ஸ் இருக்கும், அவங்களாம் யோசிச்சு செய்யற மாதிரி நிறைய அங்கே மெட்டீரியல் இருக்கும்போது பசங்க அதெல்லாம் யாரும் பார்த்ததில்லை, நானே பார்த்ததில்லை. அப்போ எங்களுக்கு அதை பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டாக கற்றுக்கணும். பசங்க சாயந்தரம் 7 மணி ஆனால் கூட வீட்டுக்கு போக மாட்டாங்க, இங்கே தான் இருப்பாங்க, போங்கன்னு சொன்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நாங்களே வீட்டுக்கு போவோம்.
Yeah. When they got to know that something like this is happening in the valley, almost close to 100 children will turn up sometimes, and it will be very difficult to engage them. And the kind of materials that we had or we still have in our learning center were very self-directed, and it doesn't need anyone to come and sit with you to do it. And it's like puzzles, like a lot of jigsaw puzzles and all that. Rajama is saying, even I have not seen something like that in my experience. So it was very engaging, and we will go home only after sending all those kids. It will sometimes they will stay back and will refuse to go home. Yeah.
லேப்டாப் எல்லாம் நிறைய இருக்கும். அப்போ அதில் கொஞ்சம் டிராயிங், பெயிண்டிங்கு, நல்ல நல்ல படம் எல்லாம் போட்டு காமிப்போம். அதெல்லாம் அப்போ பசங்க பார்த்து ரொம்ப நல்லா விரும்பி நல்லா வந்தாங்க. நான் இப்போ இது என்னாச்சுன்னா, இப்போ கொஞ்சம் நாளா பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இங்கே இருக்கிற பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இப்போ ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் லீவ்ல இருக்கிற பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்கள் ஸ்கூல் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லும் போது சரி, அதனால இது நிப்பாட்டிருக்கு. இது கொஞ்ச நாள் போயிட்டு ஸ்கூல் போயிட்டு இருக்கிறதுனால இனிமேல் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம். இது கொஞ்சம் வருஷம் ஆயிடுச்சு, இப்போ அது ட்ரைனிங் ஆயிடுச்சு, இப்போ இதுவும் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி இதுவும்.
So it's not only that, and we'll learn how to draw in computers, and they'll also show us some nice documentaries and movies. It was a very nice experience for all of us. But what happened was, because of all this and the good rapport with the community, there were constant pressure from the start to change this to a permanent space, where like a school, for instance. So we, since that has been taken up and all our efforts are focused on that, so the learning center and the other activities like basic technology course are temporarily under suspension. And what Rajama is telling is, now that the school has been started, it was started in 2015. So now that it is 5 years, so there are talks going on that we should restart that after school center for all the children of the valley.
There was also a basic technology course.
Yeah. Shaktivel will talk about the other initiative, which was called the Basic Technology Course for adolescent boys and girls of the Valley. Shaktivel will talk about that, and I'll translate.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 9th படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கும்போது அதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் ஈவினிங் கிளாஸ்லாம் வந்துருக்கேன். அப்புறம் 9th படிச்சுட்டு தான் இப்போ ஃபெயில் ஆகிட்டேன். ஒரு மே மாதமெல்லாம் அப்போ வந்துட்டு சும்மா கிளாஸ் இருக்கு வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. இப்போ வந்து பார்த்துட்டோம்னா இப்போ பெருமாளா அவங்கலாம் வயரிங் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அது கூட ஹெல்ப் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தான்.
I was studying in 9th standard, and I failed in my 9th. And in the summer holidays, I got to know that some classes are going on in Tulir, so I came by and I saw my seniors like Perumal, who's a student of Tulir, was doing some wiring work and all that. So I got interested.
Okay.
பார்த்துட்டு அப்புறம் நாங்கள் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம். அப்புறம் ஒரு மாதம் கழிச்சுட்டு அப்புறம் இந்த மாதிரி பேசிக் டெக்னாலஜி கோர்ஸ் இருக்கு, நீ வந்து சேர்ந்துக்கோங்க. அப்புறம் வந்து அது வந்து கார்டனிங் ஒர்க் இருக்கும். அதில் வந்து காலையில் வந்தோடனே கிளீனிங்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் கார்டனிங் ஒர்க் பண்ணுவோம்.
So I got to know that this course is going on, and they said that they're going to start a basic technology course. So, and there they will teach all these things. I was interested, so I joined. We also do gardening, tools maintenance, and other things which Shaktivel is going to share now.
Plumbing, wiring, நிறைய கணக்கு
This was basically a lot of NGOs used to run occasional courses. They would take people and just train them on carpentry or electronics or electrical work. But here this was slightly different. We drew from inspiration from this place in Faber where they were running a similar course. But this was more on giving youngsters a year or two of time and space to think about what they want to do in their life. So the skill as such was not important, but this course was a combination of practical and theory, and also to think about the society and themselves. So this was a combination of all three. So they would do real life projects in say electronics or electrical or construction, and through that learn academics, learn to explore oneself and the community around. And we thought after that they could go out and specialize in any skill or any work they want. So these two programs were what used to go on in Tulir earlier. After school center for government school children and a full-time basic technology course for youngsters like Shaktivel.
Yeah, to give you an example, let's say they are the hospital wing as a new room and they're doing a wiring. So these boys will go and there'll be an expert who will do the wiring. These boys will sit with them and learn how to do the wiring. And in that process, estimate how much wire is required and do math. Build a wall means how many bricks that you need for a wall of this dimension, etc. And there's a nice article in People Archive of Rural India written by Ms. Preeti David. I had shared that link with Mr. Shiva. In case if you are interested, you can check it up. And some of the boys who came to this course are, for instance, Perumal is one of the highly sought after electrician in the valley. So yeah, just to give some perspective.
So many of them who finished the basic technology course have become masons and electricians,
Welders.
So they help build our school. One of the first.
Yeah.
That's very good. So it's like applying whatever you learn, you're applying into like practical things. So
to be relevant and useful to the community around.
yes.
And another crucial factor is it prevented them to migrate to urban centers.
Yeah.
I think it's crucial because otherwise they would have just gone on to Tirupur or Chennai or Bangalore, daily unskilled laborers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's been a journey more than 15 years, I think. So how the things have changed over the years, Anu? How it has been like?
In the first
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah. No. How the locals are responding, and how is their cooperation and support for the organization?
so I mean,
No, Anu, can you come little closer?
yeah. So Reggie and Lalita, the doctors were here before us, and they had been here for 10 years. And so when we first came here, initially, even for them, people didn't know who these people were. There was distrust. People took time to get to know them, and then. But the hospital had been here 10 years, and they had done very good work. And so, we sort of stood on their shoulders. And so, but the expectation was that the hospital was catering to all 21 villages in the valley and to villages above in the hills above. So they thought that we would immediately start an English medium school and we would be catering to all the villages around here. Villages. We found the conditions were very bad at that time. There were government schools in each village, but teachers would never come here because there were no buses here. There was no public transport. There were no phones even. So for me, it's unbelievable that today we are sitting here and talking by, even when Santosh asked me first, I said, it's not possible. A Zoom call here is not possible. We've been trying. Because Ram was here and Ram did all the work behind it, it's possible today. But even now in the village, only in the hospital, even this is possible. It's not possible elsewhere. But now everyone has cell phones. We have to make rules regarding cell phone usage in school. So that way it's changed. People initially, Tular was very new for the beginning. There was overwhelming, we had 100 children the first day, but slowly they felt that we are not being very strict, that we are not hitting children. So some parents took their children away. But after 10 years, they found that children coming to Tular had something. And so there was always the pressure that we should start a school of our own. You said the children who come to Tular are doing well in their studies. They've gone on to college. Some have become, very contributing to the society very well and all that. So they wanted us to interact with children full time. And so the pressure for a school was always there. And for 2015, we started the school. And even now, if we want the school to give quality education, which is also one of the aims of the school, that we want to show the government schools here and teachers here what education should be. It should be that we have to restrict numbers. So sometimes that pressure is there, that there are demands for more people to come here, which we cannot cater to. And among 50 parents, there are still one or two parents who feel that, what we are doing is all okay for city children, alternative education, but for their children, at 4-year-old, they want them to start writing, they want reading. There are one or two parents that we are not giving homework. So that kind of thing is also there. Chintamani can share about how the parents respond.
She just finished grade 5, Chintamani's daughter Bhavatarini. So she's telling her experience as a parent.
எங்க ஊர்ல எல்லாம் கூட கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கூல்லயும் பசங்க படிச்சுட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஆனா இப்ப நம்ம புதியல படிக்கிறவங்களுக்கும் கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கூல்ல படிக்கிறவங்களுக்கும் கொஞ்சம் நிறைய டிஃபரன்ஸ் தெரியும். ஏன்னா அவங்க இப்ப நம்ம குழந்தைங்க வந்து இப்ப வெளியில கூட்டிட்டு போய் நம்ம கூட்டிட்டு போய் பேர்ட் பேரு இது மாதிரிலாம் தெரிஞ்சுட்டு வந்தா சயின்ஸை பத்தி
கத்துட்டு வரும்போதெல்லாம் இப்ப மற்ற பேர்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கும் போதெல்லாம் பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் மத்தவங்க எல்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க எதுக்கு வெளியில கூட்டிட்டு போய் சும்மா கூட்டிட்டு போய் இது பண்ணணும் உட்கார வச்சு சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும் எங்க ஸ்கூல்ல அதெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுக்கறதில்ல அது மாதிரிலாம் சொல்லி யோசிக்குவாங்க.
Damani says, in my village also there are a lot of kids who go to the government school and all that, but you can clearly see the difference with between the children who go to the other schools and Tulir children. One reason partly I think is because for instance, you take them for a walk, because every day the younger group will go for a walk. So you engage them with the birds around and trees and other aspects of the local environment. So people used to question, why are you not making them sit in the class and read and write? Why are you taking them out? All that.
அது மாதிரிலாம் அங்க சொல்லி அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் அது மாதிரிலாம் சொல்லும் போது ஆனா நம்ம பசங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அது தெரியும் நல்லாவே. இப்போ வேற கிளாஸ்க்கு வரும்போதெல்லாம் அவங்க அந்த செஞ்சு பார்க்கறதுனால வெளியில போய் கத்துட்டு வர்றதுனால அவங்க ஈஸியா அதை நல்லா இதுக்கு ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்குவாங்க. அதை சொல்லி கொடுக்கும்போது இப்போ சாப்பிட்டு வரையும் அதே மாதிரி தான் ஏதாவது சொல்லி கொடுத்தா நல்லா சொல்லி கொடுக்கும்போது அவங்க நல்லா அதை பிக்கப் பண்ணிக்குவாங்க. ஆனா மற்ற ஸ்கூல் பசங்களை கூட அது என்ன செஞ்சோம் என்ன கத்துக்கிறோன்றது கூட சில டைம் வாங்க. ஏன்னா இப்ப நாங்க வெளியில போய் பார்க்கும்போது வெளியில கிராமத்துல போய் பார்க்கும்போது அந்த டிஃபரெண்ட் எங்களுக்கு தெரியுது.
Yeah. What she also says is, I feel because children here engage more physically when they are young, and a lot of practical activities like craft and art. So that helps them to also understand very quickly, and also they retain that knowledge. Other children, I feel, is probably not feeling, satisfied. What are we learning and why are we learning? That question always haunts them. But I feel that's the major difference I find between Tulis children and other children. Now, is what she says.
She said also that she's doing classes now for government school children, and so she can see the difference between those children and our children.
Yeah.
See it practically. இப்ப நம்ம இப்ப எங்க பொண்ணு இப்ப முடிச்சுட்டு போறா, 6th முடிச்சுட்டு போறா. ஆனா அவகிட்ட கூட இப்ப நம்ம சயின்ஸ் எல்லாம் அந்த வெளியில போய் பார்த்தது செஞ்சதுனால அந்த இதுனால அவளுக்கு கொஞ்சம் நல்லாவே தெரியுது. அவ கத்துக்கிறதுக்கு நிறைய படிக்கும் போது நல்லா ஃபாஸ்டா படிக்கிறது. அப்புறம் இப்ப எழுதுறதா கூட இப்ப நல்லா, ஆனா நம்ம இந்த எழுத்துவெல்லாம் நம்ம குட்டிகளுக்கு கொடுக்கறதே இல்லை. ஆனா அவ எழுதுறது இப்ப நல்லா ஹேண்ட் ரைட்டிங் நல்லா தெளிவா நல்லா நீட்டா அது மாதிரி வர்றது, அது மாதிரி டிஃப்ரெண்ட் எல்லாம் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியுது நல்லாவே.
My daughter, who also just finishing 5th standard, I can see the difference. She was not forced to read and write when she was young, and now she is writing quite well. And maybe because of all the other activities that we've done in Tulir, her grasping, ability is very sharp, and she's understanding science concepts and all that. She's able to write quite neatly. All that difference I feel is very prominent in Tulir, is what she said. So Chintamani's daughter Bhavatarini has finished grade 5, and by the way, Tulir is a nursery and primary school. We have till grade 5, even though we don't call them as grade 5. She has gone on to join another school called Eklavya, the residential school for tribal children. Usually many parents apply there, like for 50 to 60 seats, there's close to 200, 300 people will come, and she managed to clear it, and she has joined that school.
Thanks, Ram. Actually, Anu and Ram, what I want to just tell is, though you say you are only covering till the secondary part, the 5th standard, you are actually doing what TVET does in the urban society, technical and vocational education. You are actually covering that with the secondary school. So it is not just learning what you are doing.
Thank you.
Okay. So one of the things, Anu, you were mentioning is, how the parents, are reacting to the way you are doing. So are you able to manage the rural parents' aspirations?
Yeah. So see, there were two things. One thing is that after seeing Tulir's track record for 10 years, there was a lot of people realized that something good is happening here, and they want it for more children, and they want it permanently. That is there.
Correct.
And but what actually is education, and what should children at any age group learn? that they are not really aware of. And one difference I find is now in the cities, a lot of parents have realized that when you say alternative education without stress and tension and exams and hitting and punishment is what is needed and that it is relevant. But the parents have a tremendous urgency. They feel that they have lost out for many generations on this so-called education of reading, writing, and all that. And so there's a tremendous urgency, and one thinks that one push that my child has to get what I didn't get. Okay, so we have sometimes, I feel here we have more pressure from parents on reading, writing, and homework. Like I know that there was one 5-year-old boy, and he was actually, he had started reading, and he's quite okay in academics, but his, and he could actually 5-year-old, but he could read sentences in Tamil, he could read books. But his parents came and told me, English he's okay, he can read, but Tamil he's not reading at all. I said, no, but he can read. What did you show him? What did he not read? He said, I showed him the statement from the bank. The bank had given me a letter and he couldn't read it. This is a 5-year-old boy. See, the parents don't know like at what age, what is the child's capacity. And I told them, I can't read some of the bank, the letters, bank or lawyer's notice and all. I can't read. But parents expect that because they've gone to Tulis and they get better education, this child should be able to read this land document or the bank statement, which even I at 55 can find it difficult. So that kind of thing is there. But another thing is, but now that our basic technology course students, many of them are doing very well. Like we have Perumal, Kumar, Mulusamy and all, they are handling all the work in the panchayat. So that's another thing I missed telling you, that we had panchayat elections in December. And the hospital team and Tulir and we have an organic farmers collective here and a craft initiative here. So all of us together, we put up a candidate, a nurse from the hospital, and we all of us, all the people sitting here, we all worked on campaigning because we felt we had to get into local governance, and so we were all part of that. And so now the nurse Madheshwari has become the panchayat president. So we are closely involved in the local panchayat and their work in the village. And so now many of the Tulis students like Perumal, Kumar, Mulusamy are all helping in the electrical and the plumbing work in all the villages. And so that way people, and we've been told many times, and we get stopped on the road to say that, oh, your student, he's done so well. I know he's really good that we have somebody who is not corrupt and who is very good at his work, who takes pride in his work, working like. So now those kind of also we have.
Okay. So how has been the sports activities in the school? Like I think many of them are following running schedule also, and they have been participating in many events like Bangalore Marathon, Auroville and all. So how do they find it?
See, most of us have gone to our runners high trip, so we were discussing who are going to talk about it. Yeah.
We always used to interact with Shakti Velu for all the bib collections and stuffs.
Yeah.
உங்களுக்கு எப்படி தோணுது நீங்க போனீங்க நீங்க என்ன பண்ணிருக்கீங்க எந்த மாதிரி இது பண்ணிருக்கீங்க
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அது மாதிரி இந்த பேசிக் டெக்னாலஜி பண்ணும்போது செந்தில் அவங்களாம் ஓடிச்சிருந்தாங்க செந்தில் பெருமாள் அப்புறமா ஓடிச்சிருந்தாங்க இப்போ அவங்க கூட சேர்ந்து நானும் வாங்கினேன் அப்புறம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் காவேரி மேரத்தான் தான் போனேன் பெங்களூர்ல நைட்
when I was studying in basic technology course, the seniors Sendil and Perumal used to run. So I was also interested, and I came for the Kaveri Marathon in Mysore. That was my first run, is what he's saying.
Okay.
எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் போறதெல்லாம் புதுசா இருந்துச்சு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அப்பதான் வெளியே போனேன். இந்த சிட்லிங்களுக்கு சும்மா இந்த பக்கத்துல இருக்கிற ஊருக்கு தான் போயிருக்கேன். ரொம்ப வெளி மாநிலம் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் போது எனக்கு நல்லா இருந்துச்சு பார்க்கறதுக்கு.
So it was completely a new experience for me. I've never gone out of the valley. Only nearby places I had been. I've never gone out of the state and all that. So it was really wonderful experience for me.
பேங்க்லாம் ட்ரைனிங் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு அவங்களுக்கு டைம் முடிச்சு வந்து எடுத்துருந்தாங்க. நாங்கள் அப்படி கேர்ள்ஸ்ன்றதுனால அந்த டைம் காலையில் வந்து ட்ரைனிங் எடுக்க முடியாது. கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் எடுப்போம். இப்போ வீட்டுக்கு போகும்போது வரும்போது அந்த மாதிரி ஓடி வந்துட்டு பண்ணிக்கணும். அப்போ பன்சைட் மேரத்தானுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் போனேன். வீட்டில் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட்டு நானும் தேவகி என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்டு 2 பேரும் போனோம். அப்போ சரி ஷூலாம் போட்டுக்கோ அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. ஆனால் நம்ம பழக்கமும் இல்லை. 2 பேரும் பில்லர் போட்டுட்டு வெறுங்காலில் தான் ஓடணும்.
So boys could come easily and train in the mornings and all. Being girls, we couldn't just do that. So we had to somehow accommodate.
When a girl, even like just 8-year-old, she has a lot of responsibilities at home. Fill water, bring firewood, all that.
Tend the cows, farm. Yeah, farm. I mean, girls have a lot more responsibility than boys. So Rajam is saying, I found it very difficult, but still we somehow managed. Me and my friend Devaki managed to train. And then the first marathon I went for was Auroville Marathon, 5-kilometer run. I'd never worn a shoe, so I found it very uncomfortable. So me and my friend ran barefoot the 5-kilometer run.
First time they were wearing churidar also.
Oh, yeah. So, first time they wore chudidar also. Yeah.
The interesting part was she came second or first in that run.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice.
They were first and second with that.
When was
நான் எதிர்பார்க்கவே இல்லை. நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வருவேன், நான் வரமாட்டேன். ஓடுறதுக்கே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இடமும் புதுசு, ஆளுதான் பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப புதுசா இருந்துச்சு. பயமும் இருந்துச்சு.
பயந்துட்டே ஓடிட்டீங்களா?
அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்துட்டு நீங்க 2 பேரும் நல்லா ஓடுனீங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செகண்ட் பண்ணீங்க. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா.
They didn't know they were first and second. They just finished and came back here. And Santosh called us and said they are first and second.
So it was in 2009. So Rajam is telling, I had no idea that I'm running, whether I'm running okay or not. But I was so scared. It's the first time I'm doing all this, and a completely new place and strangers everywhere. So I found it very difficult. But at the end of the day, they all came and they said, "Oh, you ran quite well, and you came first and second, and all that." It was so wonderful experience, is what she's saying.
So in this, I feel, and Santosh and we always used to be talking, for us, the relationship with Runners High is much more than running. It is that it is 2 communities of like-minded people, socially concerned people getting together. I think that relationship is much more important, and especially in the present day with the way things are all around the world. I mean, all of you will agree that people like us, our communities have to grow and expand. Socially concerned, like-minded people. The other side, the right wing, the powerful people are all getting together, and they've already formed a big split. Time that we all form. So that way, those relationships, even for our children, for our students, that was they've not been able to tell now, but that has been much more important to interact with somebody like Santosh, with all of you, and for them it was an eye opener to see that people in the cities are concerned about places like Tulir and Sita School and others. That is very important. The relationship.
It is also practically useful, because when we planned for a trip to Sita School to Bangalore, and we are grateful to Runners High, they arranged all our transport and all that. Small sightseeing trip.
And to get to know for Saktivel to interact with students of Ananya schools or Sita schools. Those kind of linkages, if not for this running event, it would have never happened. People like us who have the privileges can meet and form relationships, but for people like them to reach across to similar communities and form linkages is very difficult, if not for all.
So I think it is mutual. Even when we came to Tulir and Sitlingi, we really enjoyed. For the last 2 years, we have been, like part of Sitlingi run or Tulir run. So it's a great feeling for us to come over there and learn a lot of things there. Great. Ram, Anu, the next one, before we have a couple of questions before we take the questions from the audience here. Now with all this Corona and all in place, like COVID-19, what are the lockdown measures you guys are taking? How is it really, like working there?
Ravi will answer this question.
Okay, sure, Ravi.
Okay, till here in the beginning, we still have not had COVID cases here.
Okay.
Yeah, only now, now that transport and all has been relaxed, we are having it.
Okay.
Yeah. கோவிட் எல்லா இடத்துலயும் சொல்லி லாக்டவுன் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து இங்க பஞ்சாயத்துல வந்து நம்ம பஞ்சாயத்து சார்பா வந்து எல்லா வில்லேஜுக்கும் முதல்ல விழிப்புணர்வு ஏற்படுத்தணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஊரா போய் தண்டால் போட்டு சொன்னாங்க. தென் ஆடியோலையும் சொன்னாங்க இந்த மாதிரி கோவிட் பரவிட்டு இருக்கு, நீங்களாம் அந்த மாதிரி ஜாக்கிரதையா இருக்கணும், டிஸ்டன்ஸ் மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும், அந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்து சொன்னாங்க பஞ்சாயத்துல இருக்கிற எல்லா வில்லேஜுக்கும்.
So in the initial days when it started to spread, there was some activities undertaken by the panchayat. By that time, Madheshwari had become a president. So they went around all the hamlets announcing people that this is spreading and we have to take precautions, maintaining distance in public spaces and all that. They also drew lines near the hand pumps and ration shops everywhere.
அப்புறம் ஸ்கூலும் எல்லாம் மூடியாச்சு. அப்புறம் நாங்கள் கொஞ்சம் ஒரு 1 or 2 weeks வந்து பிரேக் இருந்துச்சு எங்களுக்கும். பசங்களோட நாங்கள் கோஆர்டினேட் பண்ண முடியல. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து நாங்கள் யோசிச்சு என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது கொஞ்சம் நாங்கள் ஏற்கனவே பண்ண ஒர்க் ஷீட்லாம் வந்து பசங்களுக்கு வீட்டில் கொடுக்கலாம், பேரண்ட்ஸுக்கு கொடுத்து அனுப்பலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒர்க் ஷீட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொடுத்தோம்.
Yeah, the school was also under regulation to be closed. So we also had some 3-4 weeks break, so we couldn't engage with the children. And after that, we had a meeting and discussed what can be done with this limitation. So the worksheets that we had created when the school was functional, we started using that and distributing that to the children through the parents.
The important thing here is that we cannot do online classes. I mean, all worldwide, everybody is doing online classes. We cannot do that here for the simple reason that nobody has internet connection. And though some of the youngsters have cell phones, most of the children and women have no access to that. And internet connection only here in the hospital and now in the panchayat office, we have this broadband BSNL 2G connection. And even this goes out of commission many times. We sometimes don't have internet connection for days together. So we had to distribute hard copy worksheets. So the teachers would give it in the village.
இந்த ஒர்க் ஷீட் கொடுக்கும்போது கொஞ்சம் பசங்களுக்கு டவுட்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருந்தால் வீட்டில் அவங்களால கேட்க முடியல, பசங்களுக்கு அவங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற டவுட் வந்து அவங்களால கிளியர் பண்ணிக்க முடியல. ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போது என்ன பண்ணலான்னு அதுக்கப்புறம் மறுபடியும் பேசிட்டு நாங்கள் இப்போ ஒவ்வொரு வில்லேஜுக்கே போயிட்டு குரூப்பாக பிரிஞ்சு போய் அங்கே அவங்க வில்லேஜ்லேயே வந்து பசங்களுக்கு கிளாஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கோம். இதில் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட் பசங்க, பட் தொழில் பசங்க இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாருமே வந்து கலந்துக்கிறாங்க.
So even if you distribute the worksheets, if the children have doubts and other clarifications, they couldn't do it. So then we decided we'll all split as teams and go to individual hamlets physically to bring all the children, and then with maintaining the social distances, of course, in outdoors mostly. to give the children all these worksheets, and also in that process engaging the other children in the hamlet, government school children and other children. So that is going on at the moment. We are doing close to eight hamlets in this panchayat. That is what predominantly we are doing with respect to the learning.
Thanks. Shushmita?
You're on mute, Susmita.
Shushmita, you're on mute.
Yes. Okay, we have one last question, I think. So, about how do you manage the funding for the school, and how is it going?
A school like this, if we have to charge parents, it will never happen. Our parents don't have the capacity to pay, and so we pay for parents can contribute whatever they can for the children's food, either as cash or as kind. They can give us whatever they are growing, or as labor. They can come and work in the school in their construction or garden, farming. Yeah, it's only towards the nutrition cost. We give lunch and snacks for children, a millet lunch and a snack for that. So to that, we have to rely on funding from well-wishers and people, friends of Tulip. And Asha Bangalore and Asha Princeton have been supporting us. Asha Princeton was giving, Krishna and I were getting a fellowship, one fellowship from Asha Princeton till last year, from 2004 till last year. And Asha Bangalore has been supporting Tulip from, I think, 2009 or 10.
Okay.
So, and we also have a group of friends and many individuals also support us.
Okay. I think Santosh also got to know Tulir through Asha Foundation, no, Santosh? Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Anu, for sharing that. Now we have a couple of questions from our audience. So let me just take those. We have a message from Kaiwan, who had been there earlier, who says that we had a fantastic time at Tulir with warm hospitality from all of you. Can you share how sustainable and eco-friendly the school is?
Oh, thank you. Name, I didn't get the name.
Kaiwan.
Hi.
Thank you, Kaiwan. Thank you.
No, I think he's saying he knows it is eco-friendly and sustainable. He wants you to share more on it.
He wants you to share more about how self-sustainable and eco-friendly the school is.
Oh,
He wants you to explain a bit more about that.
oh,
Mainly for those who had not visited the place.
Oh, okay. So, Krishna and I are both architects, basically. We are an architectural background. And so when we construct any building, we see 2-3 things. One is that as much as possible, the money used for construction should go to the community around. So we try to see that a major component of the building costs are labor costs. And this building should generate livelihood and income for the community around. That is one thing. And second is we try not to use high energy materials and high energy construction techniques. So the materials are mostly from around. We use a minimal amount of cement. We use cement wherever it's necessary, and where it's not, we don't use it. So we reduce the amount of cement and steel, and we mostly don't use glass because we think it's not suitable for the climate here. And in the school, we have tried to use recycled waste materials as much as possible. For the walls, we have, another thing is, if left to ourselves, if the government regulations were not there, our school would have been just a mud walls and thatch roofs, because we think that is what is really ideal and eco-friendly and climatically very suitable for a climate like Sitlingi, which is hot and dry. But then there are government regulations, government insists on concrete roofs and all that. So even in the concrete roof, we have tried to minimize the amount of cement and steel used. We've made prefabricated channels so that there would be the money for that, making that would go to the community. A group of people would gain from it. And we have used a second roof of very light gallalum sheets on top of it. But other than that, the walls are all waste material which comes out of well digging and a little percentage of cement. Then we've used a lot of, we've got old packaging materials from factories, and we've used that for the furniture and all that. And also the flooring, we've gone to a quarry and we got all their waste granite pieces and we made flooring there. So like this, we try to recycle old materials from everywhere for the school. As I told you earlier, the school was built by earlier Tular alumni, and all of them are now engaged in construction activities. So they've become masons and welders and all that. So I think that way is very sustainable.
Also, over the years, some 4 to 5 architects have come. New architects have come here and interned under Anu and Krishna to learn these techniques. And a couple of them have gone on and doing other projects on the same line. Low energy buildings across Tamil Nadu, I think. Yeah.
We also have our compost toilets, and we grow vegetables, our own vegetables, no?
Okay. We have one question from Venki. How much government or other NGOs help you in this process? What are your current needs from people who are certainly get inspired and want to contribute in some shape or form?
I'll answer the first one. We don't take any support from the government, and in fact, we didn't request it. Other NGOs, see, another important thing which probably people who have not heard about that is Dr. Reggie and Lalita, who have come here in '93, started this tribal hospital in this valley. That is another sister NGO that we closely interact with. And as part of that, like Anu said, the Porgai, and there is an Organic Farmers Association, all that. There is another initiative called FIRE, and there is a group of all the other alternative educators in South India. We all meet once a year and share notes and.
We are a network of alternative educationals, and we've been meeting for the last 25 years. We have a lot of interaction in terms of helping each other. I wouldn't have ventured into starting a school if not for this network of alternate schools which they're part of. There's a lot of support.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That is nice. Regarding the support, I think that was part of one of your questions, Shiva. I'll also try answering that. One thing what we probably can use is like people who can come here, who have certain skills, who can offer and even part-time volunteer here for time, being with the children and teach them what they are comfortable with, and they're getting to know the place and people would be really great. That is one thing I can immediately think of. And like Anu said, a small school like this in a rural place, and I have seen in Bangalore where there is a mad rush to get their children on to such an alternative school. But still, a place like this, people don't to appreciate that. I mean, I know it will take time, but how can we sustain the school on the long run? So what I can think of is supporting the children who come to this school, probably sponsoring a child for a couple of years and supporting the children, or to support the staff salary, we can contribute to the corpus fund. Though we don't have a corpus fund yet, so help us build a corpus fund so that in case of, for instance, COVID actually turned everything around, and this year I'm sure most of the parents wouldn't be able to even contribute towards the children's nutritional costs. So we have to do away with that. So unforeseen circumstances like this, we still don't have means to tide over that. That can be one possible avenue we can think of, building up a corpus fund. Give us teaching materials like laptops. We are running short of laptops actually, with good configuration. Working laptops which can be used, or desktops which can be used. That is one possibility.
Laptop would be better because we are on solar energy. We are not connected to the grid. Laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. One can support the education, like Ram said, educational cost for one child per year for us it comes to around 36,000. So on the corporate fund.
Or another important thing to talk about, since I talked about Porge and all, we can be responsible consumers. Porge has a website where they sell all these artisans products. So Porge, I'll just give a small background. There's a group of Lombardy women, Dr. Lalita, who had seen that they have an indigenous art form with embroidery. And they have revived that art. Only 2 or 3 grandmothers knew that in that hamlet. So slowly they got themselves trained, and they have started an initiative called Porge. I'll share the link with you. So probably you can spread the word and help them tide over this COVID.
There are about 75 artisans as part of that who do embroidery, and now they make garments and other things. And now because of COVID, they are in a very bad shape. They don't have work for the year. So if people can order garments from them, it's good. And again, from our Organic Farmers Association, they produce a lot of these millets and good turmeric and coriander.
Yeah. And just a small context on the organic farming, close to 1,000 farmers have turned from monocropping and chemical farming to organic farming because of that initiative. So
actually, except people who now the COVID is hitting us badly only now, the last 2 months. Except for the people who are working in our school and hospitals, nobody else in the valley has cash, even for doing the crop now. Now is our rain now, and they all plant now. They plant a lot of pulses and rice. Even for that, people are struggling for that. Get a tractor to plow the land. Really hitting us badly. And there were not that many migrant people from here was going out, but they've all come back, and they are also with the
Great. So we have one more question here for Anu. So Anu, you seem to have taught your children also at Thulir. So if parents want to take their children from mainstream schools, do you have any tips or suggestions?
So our children were here with us even before Thulir was started, and now when my son was seeing the school, he said, "Oh, we'd never had all this. Now we didn't have all this, so he wanted a school." What I would say is, I think Krishna and I were lucky that we were in a place like this, and we had a community around us, and we've always had people visiting us, volunteers and others visiting us from outside. Santosh has taught both my sons quite a bit. So it was very nice for our children to interact with a community around. I would still feel that homeschooling by parents, just the parents in a flat in a city somewhere would be very difficult. And they should have other adults and other children to interact with. Not all the time. I don't really think that they should interact with only their age group in a classroom in school. I don't think that's ideal also. But they should interact with various age groups outside. That possibility should be created, then it's fine. And another thing which I always, when we first started homeschooling, we would do proper classes with our children. And that didn't work. Both of us would be fighting at the end of an hour. So I think if you go to school and your teacher is bad, you can at least come home to your mother. But if the mother is the teacher and you don't like the teacher, it's very, very difficult. So, yeah.
Okay.
True. Okay, we have one more question here from Rama here. He says, you seem to be amazingly eco-friendly architects. Just a suggestion, why don't you leverage these skills to monetize in urban areas like Bangalore, where we hardly see these eco-friendly practices? This can help in supporting Tulir financially as well. I think that's a, yeah, I mean, you need to, is there a possibility of you guys coming over here and, you know, like with the guys who are learned their, the vocational skills and help people in Bangalore?
So,
Good to have 25 Anus and Krishnas.
no, see, in the construction also, this kind of eco-friendly construction, we work closely with another group in Bangalore called Grama Vidya and Mrinmay, Dr. Yogananda, Professor Jagdish and their team. And and we've learned a lot from them. And so they've already built a lot of houses in this in Bangalore, a lot of construction. And every 3 months, Krishna is also part of this. Krishna, Yogananda and Yogananda's team there run a training program for architects, engineers and contractors and masons in Bangalore. 3-day or 4-day training program. This is both practical and theory. So that they are reaching out there. And like Ram was saying earlier, we have had young architects come here and go out and they are building. And some of them, the team from here goes to help them in their construction. So whatever projects now Krishna gets, he's now putting these younger architects in charge to execute them. And sometimes our team goes there to help them. But I think we should create other teams in Bangalore. And right now, especially with COVID and all that, we've seen how it's better for people from places like Triklingi to stay here and work than to go to the cities and work. Yeah.
But
Just to add,
Anu and Krishna are quite famous. Huh? They have done many projects in Bangalore already.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
they are sought after architects.
You know, come on.
yeah, I'll share that contacts, Mahija, Mrinmay, Dr. Yogananda's contact later. Yeah, another point is, I mean, it's quite an inspiring thing. The boy near to our village, Kotapatti, which is about 10 kilometers from here, he has studied his civil engineering from Hosur. He has come and joined us and learning the techniques here. So I think that is wonderful thing. Like it's not directly they are going there and doing things in Bangalore, but in another way that it is still happening.
And it was more, I think Rama's question was more from the point of how you guys can come here and that can monetize way back into Tulir. So that was the point.
Yeah, that will take
Good.
some time. I think. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, there are, I think, no questions, but I have one last question. What are the next steps?
So a group of medical students had come here. There was a rural sensitization program. Reggie and Lalita run it every 3 months. And some of them had come to visit the school and they were talking to Rajama. And so I liked her answer very much. I'll ask her to tell. அவங்க கேட்டாங்க என்ன சொல்லுறது இதுக்கப்புறம் எப்படி போகணும் இதுக்கு முன்னாடி போகிறதுக்கு என்ன அந்த ஆன்சர் நீ அவங்களுக்கு சொன்னாங்க அவங்க கேட்டாங்க சொல்லுறது எனக்கு கேட்டவே ராஜமா she has forgotten. Okay, so after that the doctors were talking to us and they had asked what is the step forward, what do you think Tulir will go? And so it seems they were thinking that she will say this small school has to become a +2 school and a college and all that, but she said this should not be just for these 50 children. We have to have learning centers in all the villages here, and whether they are government school children or private school children, we have to give them an opportunity to learn practically and to the contextually, like it happens here. I want every child in all these villages to understand and actually learn. That was her answer.
Wow. Very profound answer technically.
Yeah. Yeah. And as part of our construction plan, there is a resource center which we are planning to build, which will be open for all the government school children. And the idea is to have all the teaching materials, learning materials there. People can come and learn and engage. So that is also in plan. So
the next step is to reach out to other villages and to other children. But we are not ruling out the possibility that the school can become a secondary school or whatever. But for that, we need a committed group of people. And also people like Ram and Archana. We need 25 more Ram and Archanas also. Yeah. We need a committed group of people, both from outside and from Pittlingi, youngsters like Ravi, Suresh, Rajama, Chintamani, a group here, committed group here. And then this can go on. But without that human resource, I think expanding the school into higher section will not be possible.
I'm sure with you guys coming and talking, I'm sure more people will definitely come forward to help. We will also share the place where people can, Runners High guys can help in terms of donation. Thanks a lot, Anu. Thanks a lot, Ram, and all of you guys there, Rajamma, Ravi, Shaktivel, all of you guys. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure interacting with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking this time and effort. It was really nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, and once everything settles down, I would welcome all of you to come here and see the place for yourself.
Yes.
Whoever has not visited Pittlingi, please come. It's an open invitation. Please come. Yeah.
Please come.
Definitely.
Can I ask one last question? Can any of you share for Rajama, Ravi, Shaktivel and all? Why is it that you're doing this? Why did you do running? And why are you interested and in places like Tulir? It will be very nice for them to hear that from you. Any of you can say.
Okay, let me
Yeah,
tell
Shiva, you
this.
only answer.
Yeah, let me tell this. I had been to Tulir, like 2 years back. I had been there when Santosh said that we are having a Sitlingi run. Like we said, okay. So we had been, like part of Runners High. We have attended a lot of running events, but Tulir running event was something which I really keep it close to my heart. There are no drama, like all those extravagant drama which happens in a regular running event doesn't happen there. The people there are so very down to earth. We never forget the place where they had arranged us to come and stay in the school. They had arranged all the, like the beds and the dinner for us. And the next day morning, the run, and it was wonderful. Also, the place is really green. I think we all, whoever had been to Tulir from Runners High, 2 years we had been there. Everybody enjoyed. We all want to come back. So,
Yes, do come back.
வந்தது இருந்தது அவங்க தங்க நேரம் எல்லாம் இருந்த மக்கள் ரொம்ப சகஜமா பழகிறது. பொதுவாக எங்கேயாவது ரன்னிங் ஈவெண்ட் போனோம் அப்படின்னா பயங்கரமா அது போட்டு இதை போட்டு பயங்கர இதெல்லாம் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை, ரொம்ப எல்லாம் நல்லா சகஜமா பழகுது, அரேஞ்ச் இருக்குது, நல்லா அக்கறையா பார்த்துட்டு எங்க பார்த்தாலும் பசுமையா இருக்குது. அது எல்லாமே ஒரு தடவை அங்க வந்தவங்க மறுபடியும் அங்க வரணும் அப்படின்னு எல்லாருக்குமே.
So,
Ravi wants to add something. Sorry.
வயசு வந்து அப்பதான் வந்து ஓடுனாங்க.
அதுக்கப்புறம் இங்க வந்து
சீக்கிரம் வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும்.
So Ravi wants all of you to come again because his wife ran for the first time 4 kilometers and she has not run after that.
So he wants you to come so that she will run again.
definitely, I think once this COVID thing is released, I think we will all definitely do the trip to Tulir and we will do our run there.
This can be the
Even
first.
the kids enjoy. Sorry, Santosh.
I was saying
Yeah,
this can
Rajama
be
was
the
telling the kids all enjoy.
Santosh, you said something?
I was saying this can be the first trip because you are so close, and this can be the
Close,
first scouts trip.
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we can plan sometime in the new year.
New Year is too too close. We have to wait and see.
Yes, let's hope, yeah, the new year will be.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a
This is
good
the
time.
first Zoom call for most of us.
Oh, okay.
One moment.
One moment.
Training அந்த ஈவென்ட்டுக்கு முன்னாடி.
Now யாராவது வந்து
Okay. So two questions. First question, I'll ask Rajama's question. Are you all running right now? I mean, are you practicing? Are you training?
Yes.
Yes, we are practicing. We are not meeting as a group, but we run in our own places. And for exercises, we meet over Zoom calls like this. And as smaller groups, we actually do exercise together over computer video conference. Running, we do on our own.
செட் பண்ணிக்குவாங்களா, அவங்க வீட்டு பக்கத்துல ஓடிக்கிறாங்களா, எல்லாம் குரூப்பா பார்க்காம பண்ணிக்கலாங்களா, எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்றது மட்டும் இந்த மாதிரி ஜூம் கால்ல பண்ணிக்கிறாங்களா? Yeah, and Chintamani's question was, I also am interested in running, but before the event, if any of you can train us how to run, come here and train us, that will be very nice. Is what
Right? Tell Chintamani next to her is a coach.
உங்க பக்கத்துலயே ஒரு கோச் உட்கார்ந்திருக்காருங்கிறாரு.
He's been the coach for, he's been running for more than 10 years. He's been coordinating and he can very well guide. If he needs help, we are setting the schedules. He is our coach in Tulir.
Yeah.
So definitely we can train. In fact, I've been telling Anu that teachers, parents, children, all of us should train together and they can all come together in one trip as a big group to take part in an event.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.